I spy with my little eyes something that begins with the letter P. I spy with my little eyes something that's red and yellow. And by the way, I do have a cold, so if I sound weird, you know why. So we start off today's episode by checking out what my secret Santa has left me. I've been waiting for this for so long, and apparently there are only a bunch of signs in here. If I were to gift myself a present this Christmas, and I'd give myself an undug hole, so I thought, what else could Pyro want? But an undug hole, there's something inside, I promise. Merry Christmas. Okay then, apparently we have an undug hole to dig out inside of a present. If I'm honest, when I opened the doors, I expected the signs to only be the present, but apparently there's something inside, I promise. So I guess after going to bed, I'm gonna have to do some excavation to find out what is actually inside the present. What is our gift? But first, what I'm gonna do is take my beacon from here because I'm not going to mine without haste too. Well, it's Pyre from the future here, and I just wanted to tell you that for some reason I decided to stop recording during this clip and then started recording later on, and I never recorded the part where I found the chest inside the present over there. So I just thought I'd let you know that what I found inside the chest is a bunch of diamonds, 16 diamonds, 32 Christmas hats, 32 iron blocks, 20 gold ingots, a dragon egg, 12 enderman heads, and 16 sponges. And by the way, my secret Santa is crafty. Yeah, unfortunately there's nothing else inside of the present. But it's fine because I got quite a lot just from this one chest. That was a nice way to start off today's OmathaCraft episode. Anyways, a new day in OmathaCraft. I'm gonna keep that present there and head over to my construction site where I have been working, placing down lots and lots of coarse dirt. This place has extended quite a lot since the last time you've seen this, and so far this is the progress we have made. We still have a little bit to go through here on the edges. I'm gonna cover up this small area here, this small area, this small area, probably most of this area as well. Extend it out just a little bit over here. For now, we're gonna put the coarse dirt business on pause, and it's time for the construction to begin. So if you remember in episode 9, not the last episode we did something. What did we do in the last episode? Oh yeah, we made Barry's little secret Santa basket thing. Anyways, in episode 9, when I made my sheep farm, I mentioned how I still want to make a work in progress, sort of under construction building around the farm, which is what we're going to do today. So we pay a visit to the good old test world where I have been working on designing this building. Now there's really not much to show here. I mean, you can obviously see the entire first side of the build, and I don't exactly plan on making any changes, so it's about time we hop back to the OmathaCraft server and start making this thing. So I log onto the server to realize that I have made a horrid mistake. That being, I took the wrong dimensions of the scale of the build that I was going to go for. So you see the scaffolding here. This is what I used to count the dimensions of what was supposed to be the perimeter of the build. And well, I took the right dimensions. That's the plot I set up in my test world. But the thing is, I made the perimeter of the build. I built all the walls on the perimeter, and with all the decorations, all the support memes and stuff, and all the depth that's put into the build, one side of the build goes 3 blocks in. So basically we're gonna be barely touching the farm, which I really don't want because it makes the area seem tight. Oh, and also a second mistake I made, I never actually designed the shorter side of the area. So 2 major mistakes I made while designing this build. But what I'm gonna do, now that I at least have a bit of an image of what I want the walls to look like and what sort of materials I'm gonna be using, I'm gonna try to make do with the area I have and try to extend it a bit, make it a bit bigger, and try to adjust the build which I have designed. Now, making the build bigger includes re-terraforming this little area of coarse dirt, so I'm gonna have to do that now as well. The first beams have been put in place, and I have to say, I'm loving the scale of this thing. I love how it's already coming along together. Now, those are only half of the beams. I mean, we still have the beams that go at the back, the support beams, plus the vertical beams going up against the horizontal beams to build, but something about its current state already has me in love with it. So the vertical beams are now in place and ready. So are the hinge slots in the vertical beams, crossing over the horizontal beams where the copper is gonna go. And as you can see, I've already started setting up the copper for it to start oxidizing and getting to the second level of oxidization, which is called the exposed copper. Though I will need to get my hands on some honeycomb to wax this copper so it wouldn't oxidize furthermore, and I wouldn't have to constantly use an axe on it to bring it back to the level of oxidization that I wanted to, just like so. So until I can get my hands on some honeycomb, it's time for the next step, and that is the minor detailing. All the buttons I had, all the trapdoors I placed in the design I had in the test world, and then it'll be time to start placing in the other 3 walls of the building, and I also will have to extend out the coarse dirt. So that's another thing which I'm gonna have to do to get this build to completion. So we pick up the last of the copper we have that is getting oxidized, and I have already went over to Vapor's base and got my hands on some honeycomb, and I have placed down the majority of the copper, and I also finished the minor decorations of the beams over there. We have the trapdoors and the buttons in place. We have also a lot of the oak trapdoors around the corners of where the copper is. We still have this side to do with the trapdoors and this top hinge point to place in the copper. So we have 2 copper blocks and then 1 cut copper block. So we're 2 copper blocks short, so I'm gonna have to smelt down some more, craft them into blocks, get them to get oxidized. Oh, I forgot to honeycomb these bad boys. That's 1, 2, 3. I apparently already had some exposed copper in the shulker box, which I didn't say, but that's okay. And just like that, there's one more thing that needs to be done to this first side of the entire build, and that is the support beam at the back of all of the main structural beams, which is gonna be made out of purely oak planks, but it's going to be the hardest bit to do because I'm gonna have to work in a one wide block area and build at a diagonal in the sky. Not really in the sky, but high above the ground, with no supports but scaffolding and any other sorts of block or platform I make during the making of this build. I have already marked out the center point of the build. It's a 1 block center, which is perfect. Now all that needs to be done is for me to make the support beam at the back. And just like that, the entire build is complete. No, I'm just kidding, I still have 3 more sides to do. And someone thought it would be funny to open this trap door. Oh, I think it was... Yep, it was the pressure plate. A little coarse dirt extension has been made. And the entirety of the second wall of the build is fully completed. And not just that, I've also been keeping my mind off of this project because it seemed to me that I've been working on it for a little too long. So I decided to start working on something else. And I technically didn't start working, I continued working on another project, one that we started on a little earlier, quite earlier down the line this season, and that is my dripstone farm. Last time I worked on this, we had like a quarter of the farm completed, we had this section completed, and these 3 modules were pretty much half incomplete, half complete, if you know what I mean. So basically this one was working, these 2 weren't complete. So I built them up and they are now fully functional, and I've also built up the other half of the farm. Half of the farm is fully completed with all the redstone in and all the dripstone dripping and stuff, and the other half, well, we've got all the pistons and observers in, though we are lacking redstone right now. I literally have none. I used to have like 3 stacks of blocks here. I had a couple of stacks in my shulker boxes, and now I have only 7 redstone dust to my name, though I do have 2 stacks of repeaters left over. Anyways, again, that is not the only thing I've been working on. I have been stepping out of the construction sites a bit because I needed to change the view I had. I needed to look at some lush green grass. As much as I love the coarse dirt over at the construction sites because it fits this theme, of the construction site. It's not that appealing to look at just yet. It still lacks a lot of builds, a lot of color, a lot of structure in the area. Anyways, heading towards my villager trading hall, I have finally completed this thing. Well, I didn't exactly complete it. I still am missing 3 villagers which are going right here, and we have a pile of minecarts which I need to get rid of. So I've been cleaning up the area a little bit. We have all of the villagers back here in place, and I think last time I worked here on camera I had the central ones all in place, and now we have this side as well under working, under construction, under progress. Basically I'm currently working on placing in all the villagers. Here on this side we're gonna have farmer villagers. I have all 6 of them in place, and then at the end here I'm gonna have 3 librarian villagers because I'm still missing a couple of bucks which I need to get. So once my villagers over at the villager breeder are done breeding and growing up, I'm gonna be sending 3 over to the villager breeder, villager trading hall. And once they're in place and I get the enchanted books I need from the librarian villagers, we can start working on decorating and building up the building of the trading hall. Enough with the nonsense, I have a build to complete, so let's get my materials, and I'm also gonna need to pick up my copper. Here it is! The first build of the construction site is complete and in place around the sheep farm. All the sides are complete and each pair of opposite sides is exactly identical. It took me very long to make sure that that's the case, but now it's complete. And now I can step aside from this project. It's done! The first farm is fully completed with a build around it. And I also now have a hat. A new hat. This is an OmathaCraft cap, which I designed myself, and we now have it on the server. And as you can see over at the front on the kind of little visor thing, I believe it's called, we have the colors representing the OmathaCraft logo. The color palette has a very similar style to the OmathaCraft shirt, which I'm not really bothered to put it on right now, but trust me, it does. The colors of the cap itself and the colors of the logo is like pretty much exactly identical. Anyways, it's time for the second farm which I want to make in today's video. And other than this farm, which is going to be a flower farm going in this blue plot right here, I have 3 other farms which I should be making very, very soon. And I will be making very, very soon. And those 3 farms are the 3 most essential farms in Minecraft. Those being the pumpkin, melon, and sugarcane farm. To this day, I'm yet to have a proper melon farm, a proper pumpkin farm, and a proper sugarcane farm. I mean, I don't even have a proper melon and pumpkin farm at all, not even a small one. Though I do have this little sugarcane set up right here next to my villager trading hall. But this won't do forever. So it's not going to last forever. At some point, I'm gonna have to remove it. In fact, let's just do that right now. In preparation for making the sugarcane farm, I'm gonna remove all the sugarcane I have set up right here. And then we can plant it inside of the fully automatic sugarcane farm once I come around to building that. But first, we have a task at hand. And I'm going out of my way to communal because I need slime for this farm. And I know for a fact that down here somewhere, we have some free slime which we can take. Yep, there we go. I'm just gonna take a stack for now. With each build, you start with a blank canvas, and our blank canvas for this flower farm is gonna be a grass platform. And this array of glass is where the magic begins. We bring ourselves our slime blocks, we place them on top of the glass, and it's raining, everything is ruined. Now what you do is complete the puzzle by placing the pistons and the observers. On this corner right down here, we're gonna have an observer connected up to this dispenser which has a flint and steel inside it, and when this detects a block update, like the one I'm going to cause right now by placing the glass, it's gonna light up the flint and steel on the slime block, causing the flying machine to start functioning. Here we have a Barry Jackson joining us. Bye. And as you can see, the flying machine makes its way over to the other end successfully. So we're gonna have a similar setup to the one we have over there with the observer on this side. Just like so, and then when this block detects a block, and when this block detects a, and when that block detects a block update, third try, when that block detects a block update, it's gonna light up this dispenser, which also has a flint and steel, and it's gonna make its way over to the other side. And for some reason, this did not work properly. Why didn't this work? What if I try punching it out? Okay, that worked. It broke for a second. I need to check why. Let's see if it works on this side now. So what this is basically doing is sending the flying machine back and forth constantly, not consistently. That lit up the fire, but for some reason it doesn't work as planned. Thank you for that, Barry. I think an easy solution to that is adding a little bit of delay, so we're gonna get some repeaters and try to make this work somehow in this tight space. That wasn't as hard as I expected, so I'm just gonna punch the flame on this side now, and hopefully it pushes Barry out of the way, makes its way over to the other side. This is fascinating to watch. And there it goes. It got lit up in time and sank perfectly fine, and now it's gonna make its way over to the other side again, and that's probably a little too loud, so let's turn that volume down. Makes its way to the first side again, and the same thing happens. Amazing. Next up, we need to actually generate all the grass and the flowers, so we're gonna be placing dispensers which are gonna be shooting out bone meal onto the grass, causing grass and flowers to grow. Those should now be spread out evenly enough for them to fill up the entire grass patch. So let me show you a quick representation of what I mean. So let's assume we have some bone meal here grown from the dispensers. When the flying machine is activated, the glass on the ground touching the grass blocks is gonna break all the grass and flowers which have grown on top of the grass. Then the entities are gonna get pushed because of the grass onto the concrete, where there's gonna be a hopper minecart line, a hopper minecart trail system beneath the concrete collecting all of the items. And the same thing is gonna happen on this side, where there's gonna be a minecart hopper beneath the concrete collecting all the items. And the reason I'm doing it on both sides is because when each of these observers here in the corner detects a block update, not only is it going to launch the flying machine again, but it's also going to force grow the grass on the grass blocks again. So we're gonna have a collection system on either side. All of the redstone is hooked up, and now if we fill each dispenser with at least a stack of bone meal for the time being, we start the flying machine, put the flint and steel back in place, and as you can see, the first dispensers go off, causing all the grass to grow and all the flowers. Makes its way down to the end, and all the dispensers go off again. This is amazing. The farm is complete, and it's fully functional. All we need to do is a little bit of a collection system, and I just realized this block won't be caught by the hopper minecart because we have the redstone here. Same goes with the other side with this one block, though is it really that important? Do many of the items get to this block specifically? I guess they do sometimes, but this time it just got stuck inside of the glass blocks. And boy, do I love playing on the OmathaCraft server with such a high ping. Yeah, I don't think really this half matters that much. All that's important is this half where there is no redstone beneath it, so we're just gonna have a short hopper minecart line on this side and the other side collecting all of the items. Now a little problem we're definitely gonna have to face is our bone meal supply. Now this doesn't eat bone meal up too fast. I mean, we've gone through a little bit of a stack, and I'm pretty sure we have a pretty good yield so far. Yeah, that isn't really bad for the amount of bone meal we used, and there's still more coming in. And the items we haven't picked up on the other side. I'm telling you, playing Minecraft on an SMP with such a high connection, I mean such a high ping, very, very fun. Not really, but sarcasm. That is the first module in place, and the hopper minecart is going back and forth, and the collection system is fully complete on one side, and a creeper did explode here. After some cleaning and polishing up around the sheep farm, no, oh my god, I tried consciously not to say sheep farm, but I did. Around the flower farm, everything is now complete. It all looks neat, and it is currently fully functional, except for the fact that there is no bone meal inside of the dispensers. So that is the next task at hand, having this farm power itself by producing bone meal made from the seeds that we get from the grass. So the plan of action is taking the seeds from these chests from the storage on either side, sending it into a composter, then throwing it up into the dispenser here. But that is redstone and technical. I don't want to do that yet. I'm going to put it off. I want to do something else. I'm going to make paint buckets. or build paint buckets. And the paint buckets have been built. And I've also built a foldable table and a toolbox because I designed them already and I decided why not. They're a simple design and I just went ahead and built them. And the reason I went for paint buckets and the reason they're near the flower farm is because technically this isn't only a flower farm, this is a dye farm. The main reason I need flowers is for dyes, and as we know, crafting flowers in the crafting grid makes dye. And dye is technically used to paint things, which is why I decided to make paint buckets. Because with the paint inside the paint buckets, you can paint things, and it just all adds up and makes sense. So that will be it for me in today's OmathaCraft video. I hope you have enjoyed it and I hope you like my nice little couple of builds. Just bear with me here, I'm just hugging the ground currently. So I hope you have enjoyed today's episode. If you did, be sure to leave a like, also consider subscribing as that would be greatly appreciated. And for now, I'm gonna see you all in the next episode, video, whatever. Goodbye, farewell lads.